Hey, babes. Welcome back to the Business Brunch Babes podcast, where we blend wealth, wellness, and a little bit of wisdom all over a good brunch conversation. So, I'm your host, Tony, your real estate bestie, wellness cheerleader, and the woman reminding you that your next level up is just one brunch away. Today's episode is extremely special because I have one of my very own business brunch babes who's joining us today. She's a past attendee. She's been a supporter since day one, and she's a powerhouse businesswoman. A speech pathologist who not only owns her own practice but also expanded her business model. She's speaking at an upcoming women's expo and has recently rebuilt her home after surviving the Altadena fires, y'all. So, talk about resilience, purpose, and grace under pressure. Welcome to the show, ladies. Miss Wanda. Hey, Wanda, how are
Tony,
you?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you for that introduction.
Yes, yes, yes. And guys, this is my very first interview on my podcast, and I couldn't think of anybody better than Miss Wanda to be my first interview on this podcast. So we're just going to let you guys know this is our very first time doing this. So be patient with us. We may be looking down, but we are present, okay? And we've got some valuable information we want to share with you guys. So let's start from the beginning, Miss Wanda. Tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get started into speech pathology, and what inspired you to start your own practice?
Well, um, we could talk about that for the entire length of the podcast. However, in a nutshell, I have a license in speech language pathology, which allowed me to provide services to children and their families who have communication disorders. I learned of the profession when I was 16 years old in high school and had a class that required me to answer questions about interested fields for me. It was in the library, so I went in there, I put in information, and in particular, I shared that I love working with kids. I love language, and not just English language, the production of the sounds and different languages, that are spoken all over the world. And that guided me towards a profession called speech language pathology. So I shared that information with my mom, and she so happened to have a friend who was a speech pathologist. So she introduced me to her, and I've been in love with the profession ever since. So that's initially how I learned of the profession and got started. And the mentorship of this particular woman, Solores Green, as well as other women who were in the profession, made a profound difference.
That's wonderful, Wanda. Thank you for sharing that. So, Wanda, I'm going to pivot just a tad bit, and I just want to touch on this. I know you've been through something that's pretty much unimaginable, the Altadena fires. And
Yes.
can you share what that experience taught you about
Mm,
resilience, family, and maybe even a little bit about your faith?
mm. Wow, that's a powerful question. It certainly did test all of them. I realized that it was a test, and I was okay with that. Um, I can only say that had it not been for the love and support of my husband and him being with me through this entire process, I I don't think I would have managed as well as we have. Um, and the love that your family gives you during difficult times. I am a new grandmother, and my grandson absolutely has brought me joy through this entire process, and is a reason for me to continue to do what I do. In other words, he is my why. as is are the children I have the luxury to engage and play with every single day and create these joyful moments and help their parents learn how to create these joyful moments at home too. But, my grandson and my sons, having their support, had it not been for my husband as well as my sons showing up when they did, our house would not have been standing, nor would several other houses. That I do know. So having a family that truly loves you and you love them and you support and nurture each other during difficult times, it's amazing. And then, knowing that you're discussing things and you have to be able to have a lot of patience and understand that things are not necessarily going to happen in your time, because my time was yesterday. Others' time may be next week or 2 weeks. And learning to manage that within yourself, learning to slow down and proceed with ease and flow in everything that you do. In this particular situation, yes, all of that was tested with me. And in terms of testing my faith in myself and my family, in my God, in my friends, all of that's been tested. And I say we are on the other side, are absolutely resilient, but it also goes back to a mindset that you must have. And it's imperative that we instill that mindset in our children from a very early age so that they are optimistic instead of pessimistic,
Mm.
in spite of. And that's one skill that I have developed over the years, learning to move forward, at the same energy level and pace, no matter what is going on around me. I must be able to focus on what needs to be done that day, that week, that month, in spite of the other distractions we have, and learning to minimize those distractions too. Because some distractions you do have control over.
Absolutely. I agree. Like social media. That's a distraction we all
Yes,
have some sort
yes,
of control over.
yes.
And I apologize for Jack's barking. My dog never barks, and obviously he wants to bark now. So sorry if you guys hear Jack's barking in the background. But
Oh, that's okay. We have a puppy too. Hi, but yeah,
okay, thank
we
you.
have certainly been tested. And I have this little saying that I have on a bracelet, and it says, "She believed she could, so she did."
Mm.
I have changed that to, "They believed they could, so they did."
Oh,
Because for me and my husband, whoever your partner is or your team is, when you believe together, it's even more powerful.
I like that. That's great, Wanda. Thank you for sharing that.
And be it your home team, your business team, with your business, it is so imperative that people have the same vision and are in alignment with your purpose, your why, and your delivery of your business, be it in minds, providing speech language therapy services, and also occupational therapy services. I'm getting in a little uh, promo there, but
No,
when you
yeah,
when you do these things and you truly love to do it, it makes a huge difference. So whatever you decide to do for your business, choose something that you love and that you want to spend your time in and brings you joy. Because if you're doing it just for the money, I don't know if that's going to last long term. You're going to have to find something else that stirs you within.
that's true, Wanda. You definitely got to follow something you're passionate about because it does show, you know.
Hmm.
That's actually a good segue into one of our favorite topics here at Business Brunch Babes, which is building wealth and legacy, especially for women who are creating their own lanes, right? How do
Hmm.
you define wealth in your life right now today? What's your definition of
Hmm.
wealth?
Hmm. Having your physical health, that is wealth. Your mental health, that is wealth. your spiritual health, living, waking up each day. That is wealth. Sure, there's the wealth that are the material possessions, and I am so thankful for those as well. But there, and having peace of mind,
Mm.
you
Hmm.
know, that is wealth. No, and it's really your mindset too, because no matter where you are and what it may look like, that doesn't have to be your mindset. You are not where you are. You are where, live your life as if you are where you envision yourself being. And I know it's kind of a mind game, but we have the power to do that. You can shift your mood and not let these other things bother you with some discipline and, some practice, but it can be done. It's not easy, but yes. So that's wealth to me, learning how to remain positive in spite of, to work towards something in spite of, and still have that zest for life and love, and get up each day feeling happy and vibrant, you know,
Yes.
because you can
Yes.
go each day who don't have that same energy and love.
Yes.
So that's wealth to me.
I love that. I love that. So, Wanda, you're a mom, a recent grandmother, a business owner, a wife. Now you're going to be a panelist at this expo. How do you maintain your wellness and your mental health through it all? Like, do you have like a mantra that you believe in, or is there like a non negotiable self care practice that you stay with, especially with everything you've gone through with your family and all those good things?
Mm-hmm.
Well, everything you've gone through. So,
Yes, I do have what I call my agreements to live by, and they are in alignment with the phrase mantra. And there are 10 of them. So let me share them with you. And I do have them written down. So
okay.
I'm looking down a bit here. So,
It's okay.
first one, be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Slay in your lane. SLAY. Slay in your lane.
Yes.
Be consistent and persistent. Align your thoughts, words, and actions with bliss. Never let fear be the reason for haste. Let me
Mm.
say that one again. Never let fear be the reason for haste. Number 8, create a marvelous plan and enjoy the ride. Number 9, stay ahead. And number 10, many paths, same destination.
Mm. I like that, Wanda. In fact, I have to give you an applause. That was, yes. I love that, Wanda. Thank you for sharing. Ladies, I hope you guys at least was able to get a few pointers from those. Wanda was dropping some gems right there, okay? So I love that, Wanda.
And
Um,
everyone has their own. And
yes.
I have developed over, I'd say, the past 5 years since 2020. You know, we all have these moments when they really are life changing, life shifting. And certainly my recent experience with the fires was one. And the one prior to that, which impacted everyone, was COVID.
Yep.
That's when I did decide to shift my business. My business naturally, well, I've always known I wanted a private practice as a speech language pathologist. And I knew that my plan, or my plan was, I didn't know, but my plan was to work in the schools, retire from there, and continue with my practice. And that is what has come to fruition. During COVID, my practice really did expand, and my desire to be limited to the school setting was no longer there. So I retired from the school setting in 2023 after about 30 years. And I had already established my private practice with vendoring through regional centers. But then I actually found a space to stay in 2020 and provide services. And then from there, it grew into a second location in El Monte. And then when I retired from the schools, I went from one office in that space to six spaces and added occupational therapy services. So all of these things were natural progressions for me, but it was also done under professional guidance, a coach, because I don't believe in reinventing the wheel or doing things uh, over that I don't need to, working smarter, not harder. And that's pretty much what it's been for me. And I've enjoyed the whole process. And during that process, you have to learn to budget your time. You had mentioned that before. So you must say no to some things in order to say yes to some other things.
Ooh-wee.
So you have to decide what you're going to put your time and energy in. But in terms of my balance, I I can honestly say I have the philosophy: work hard, play harder.
And I can actually attest to that because I have played hard with Wanda.
Yes, over the years. But you know,
Yes.
I also take care of business.
Yes, you do.
You
You do.
mentioned being a wife. I've been married to the same man for 32 years.
Shout out to Charles, Mr. Collins.
And I can honestly say he is the love of my life. I love my life. I love him.
Yes.
And I love our sons and my grandson and the life that we have here in Altadena, which, you know, I am making even better. Our home has been remodeled, and it's been, the as I said, something we experienced that we did not see coming. No way, no how, not now, not ever. But in spite of, we rise.
I love that, Wanda.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, Miss Wanda. So listen, one of my favorite parts of this platform in this community is, in which you've been a part of. And I want to extend the offer for our community to help you, Wanda. So, how can our listeners, our community support you right now, whether it's your business, your upcoming event, or something that you're just passionate about?
Hmm. Well, you certainly can support me, you know, if your child is in need of support to develop their communication skills. I look at it as not so much what they can do for me, but I can tell you what I can do to help you. And then it kind of just, goes around. But I know that helping um, people have confident communication skills allows for them to have lifelong success. And it literally starts from the womb. And I can share with you in great detail all the changes that happen from birth to our older and latter years with our speech and language development, our cognitive development, our motor development, our play skills and social skills, and how our family structure and daily life impacts all of those things, and how ultimately it impacts your uh, social emotional skills and confidence and communication skills. They all really go together.
Do.
So if you know someone, or if you yourself are experiencing that, and it's not necessarily just children, it could be for a group of individuals who work at a Head Start, or who work at a private school, or a private school that needs some consultation services, or um, there's so many other things that I can think of. uh,
Yeah.
but we do provide services for speech therapy and parent education and occupational therapy at our locations. But ultimately, I just love what I do. I do also vendor with three regional centers: Lanterman Regional Center, East LA Regional Center, and San Gabriel Valley Pomona Regional Center. And I have a contract with Kaiser to see clients as well. So, and those alone do keep me very busy. But I also provide services on a corporate basis where I can provide very, very specific services with families, and that would be based upon what they're interested in. So I can provide consultations regarding that. So, you know, uh, communication happens every day, whether you're a small child, a toddler, teenager, adult, or perhaps something happened and you had an injury and you need to develop some compensatory skills. And it even goes into swallowing. So the field of speech language pathology is so rich, but I do have a specialty with parent education and childhood development and speaking, so those are
Awesome.
kind of my fortes.
And Wanda, if I recall, you also provide virtual appointments. Is that correct? If someone
Yeah.
is maybe not close to any of your locations, can they schedule a virtual appointment with you as well?
Yes, virtual appointments are available.
Awesome. Awesome. And I do have your email address down here, guys, so you can check Wanda out. You can give her, send her an email, and then she's also tell us a little bit, real quick, about the Ultimate Women's Expo, which is at the Los Angeles Convention Center.
Yes, I am super, super excited about that. I have the opportunity to have a booth there on Sunday, the 19th. The booth will be there from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., and that will be during expo hours. And I was asked to be one speaker on a panel to discuss my experience in developing my practice. And the conversation will have a different take than the one we had today, but I will share with them and the audience present my experience in some very specific areas in developing my business. So I am super, super excited. And it's an opportunity not just for me to share information again about my practice, it's an opportunity for other people to learn and connect and grow. And Tony, that is also your thing.
Yes,
I
yes,
know you love people and making things happen. So
yes,
thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to connect with you on this amazing platform. I am so proud of you and the work that you have put into this, because I was just more than pleasantly surprised. That's why I called to share with you how proud I was of you, and the podcast itself had amazing information. And I was like, yes, this is amazing.
yeah.
And
This is easy, and it's easy for me, and I love it. I'm passionate about it, and I've got some wonderful women who have some fantastic things to share, like yourself. And one of the reasons why I really wanted Wanda on here was, one is, the world of speech pathology. I'll tell you, she's the only speech pathologist I ever knew and met. And I'm pretty sure some of you guys listening may have never even heard of a speech pathologist. So this is also something, that other people who may not have been aware of this could, basically be now have some knowledge on it. So thank you so much, Miss Wanda. We thank you for being my very first host. I mean, my very first guest on my interview with this podcast that I plan to do consistently. Um, But again, Wanda, thank you for sharing your story, your wisdom, and your heart with us. Your journey is definitely a reminder of rebuilding isn't just about recovery, but it's about rising higher, stronger, and more intentional than before, right? So, ladies, if this podcast inspired you or it gave you a little bit of nudge to keep going, share it with another woman who needs it. Okay, follow Wanda. We've got Wanda. She's, let's see, I've got her website here that you can go to her website and get more information. And then you can also send Wanda an email directly. Okay. And then for more podcasts like this, follow Business Brunch Babes. We're on all the platforms. You can give us a follow and a like and subscribe. And then, Wanda, any last minute nuggets that you want to share with the ladies before we end this first interview?
Wow. I can only say that one thing I know to be true is time will tell. And God willing, we have enough time to tell.
Yes. That is the truth, Miss Wanda.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
surround yourself with people you love, do what you love, and set yourself up to be successful. And that's one thing about Business Brunch Babes. It sets you up to be successful. So that part.
I love it. Thank you so much, Miss Wanda. You enjoy the rest of your day. And until next time, ladies, like and subscribe for additional podcasts like this. And again, share with other ladies. Take care. Bye.